Each time he gets getting caught, put in suspension, she gets older. And it's like, you really feel for this guy, because it's such a fucking raw deal. He got fucked up the ass with no lube by this fucking penal system. And you're like, yes, he probably shouldn't have escaped, but he didn't belong there. He was innocent. It's like the same thing with Stallone in Lockup. He didn't belong in that fucking hell of a prison with Drumgoal. That's not, but probably would say it was not the same, but it's close enough to me so I can really look past the fact that he broke out. So basically, because if this was the same shit, he could break out, he could do a set term, and then they'd still fuck him over. Be like, yeah, you served your time, but you really did you really did injure one of our police officers. We don't like that, and we found out you were doing some activities, in prison we don't like. We're gonna extend your sentence to 10 more years. And we're like, what? I didn't do anything. And then you protesting? Okay, that's 5 more years. I could really see this shitty penal system in the future really pulling that type of shit. Throw him in some work camp and just work camp on the moon or something, and he'll never see his kids again. So he would probably get fucked in the ass anyway if he didn't escape. So it probably would have helped if they'd fleshed that out. That either way, if he had stayed or not, he was going to get screwed. That probably would help the plot a little bit more. But basically, it's sad. It is a sad, sad, sad story. A father, a family man, just wants to see his kid, just wants to see his wife. He gets raw deal, gets freaking arrested, gets put in this fucking chemo sleep. Then he escapes again, and then he gets caught again, and then now his daughter's like 72, and like his the rest of his family is dead. It's just a bummer. It's just a fucking bummer. This movie is a bummer. So basically, you have some good moments of dramatic acting by Gary Daniels, especially after the second cryosleep. Now he's sort of like a folk hero. They call him Spoiler. Everyone's like, hey, Spoiler, you gonna break out now? Break out today? Woo! And Gary Daniels, basically what happens is, since he didn't take his adrenaline shot, his muscles are starting to fuse together. And basically, there's a moment where you see him walking to the mess hall, and he's all gnarled up. And it's good physical performance by Gary Daniels, all gnarled up, limping over to the table. He's got all these friends, from the prison that have been there. And basically, he gets upset. This one of his friends is trying to, encourage him. He's trying to pick up this fork with some mashed potatoes, and he's like, if anybody can do it, it's you, Mason. It's you, Mason. You can do it. And then he just keeps failing multiple times. He can't get the fork to his mouth because his muscles are so fucked up. And then basically, he had enough, and the guy's like, wait, I'll feed you myself. It's like, no! Fuck off! Fuck off! Get away from me! Leave me alone! I'm doing this for me! Not for you, for me! Get the fuck away from me! It was really, actually pretty good anguish performance by Gary Daniels. Dramatic turn here. And, yes, his acting isn't top-notch, but, I admire his performance, though. He tried. And he does a pretty good job, in my opinion. So, basically, he doesn't want to, he really is just trying to but deal with this. He wants to be alone with his thoughts. Eventually, he ends up healing his fused muscles. I don't know how. It just shows him working out at the yard. Doesn't really explain it. I'll let that slide. And there's this son of this mob boss who basically, now in this future that he's in, Earth is really, the outside world is even worse now. Crime is taking over. And basically, this mob boss's son is in prison, and he's saying, oh, I'm a drug dealer's son, big drug dealer, and I got a deal for you, Roger, if you help me break out. And then these other people join him. And you get this little breakout, a little prison breakout moment here. It's pretty well done. You have this character named Bookman that I kind of enjoy, kind of a nerdy guy. And then basically what happens is, the prisoner, the guy's son, I don't remember who the fuck his name is, this actor. It's definitely, I think it's Nicolas, it's Nicolas Sadler. He plays a guy named Ranny. Bookman was played by, I don't know if they have Bookman in here. I don't know if they list him. I guess they don't. Nah, they don't. That's too bad. But the guy's name, Nicolas Sadler, is Rennie, who's this annoying, bitchy ass. I'm the listen to me, you know. He's really annoying. And oh wow, I guess Cameron von Daacke is a pseudonym for Jeff Burr. I just found that out because it's on IMDb. It says director Jeff Burr. Jeff Burr directed this, but he didn't like the results, so he ended up taking his name off and creating a pseudonym, and Cameron von Daacke. Interesting. Didn't know that. So basically, it's not as good as Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, that's for sure. But anyway, back to the film. You have this Rennie guy, and basically they're breaking out, and there's these two other guys who freak out because they have this plan. They're basically, it's a pretty self-recalled plan. They're going to go into the freezer, and the wall behind the freezer is weak enough that they're going to freeze it with the Freon that's from the inside the freezer and break out. And they have the plans and everything. Bookman, this guy, nerdy guy, he has the plans of all the technical plans of the prison. And they break out and, you know, kind of break through the back like it's glass, and they get in, and there's the way that they were going to go. But then, you know, Roger Mason, you know, Gary Daniels, he's like, I don't know, that's too obvious that they're going to expect us to go that way. We're going this way. We're going left. It was like, no, I'm going, and then other people, there's just a couple other guys that say, fuck it, I'm going this way, man. You go that way. I don't know what the fuck is down there, man. It might be cold shadows or some shit. I ain't going down there. Bunch of dark shadows shit. And then basically, they get shot. They didn't know better. So now it's just Bookman, Mason, and Rennie who are running down the halls, trying to figure out what's going on here. And then they encounter this really weird, kind of watery looking hallway, and you see Gary Daniels put his hand through this water. Kind of reminds me of Stargate, you know, and the pool, you know, the water pool, you know, the portal, you know, that James Spader puts his hand through. It reminds me of that. And this is one of my opinion, one of the reasons why I can't totally hate this film. This is a really ingenious, imaginative sequence here. It's called, you know, Gary Daniels, Roger Mason says Cold Shadow. And that's what guys said Cold Shadows before. And I'm like, what's Cold Shadow? And you find out Cold Shadow is this 40 feet of this liquid stuff. And it's liquid nitrogen. But it's not super concentrated. Basically what it is you can, you know, you basically can run through it, but you have to hold your breath and close your eyes. Because if you take one breath in, it'll freeze your lungs instantly. If you open your eyes will freeze over. So basically, you see Gary Daniels basically puts his hand over his eyes, you know, his arm over his eyes, holds his breath, and goes through it. And for a low budget to do this kind of ambitious sort of thing, I thought it was really cool. And he goes through this cold shadow. He manages to get out, and he's like an icicle afterwards. And Bookman's, and it's kind of a sad sequence because Bookman, he's a nerd. He's kind of like, you know, nerdy guy, and he freaks out and he gets stuck against the wall. Roger Mason is like, no, Bookman, get away from the wall. Come to me. Come to my voice. It's over. Come on, run forward. And then you got Rennie's dumb asses talking on the other side. Dude, no, what the fuck are you doing? You're an idiot, dude. Come on, get away from the fucking wall. And then, you know, Gary Daniels is like, shut the fuck up. And then you like the viewer, yeah, shut the fuck up, Rennie. Shut up. He's confused. He's hearing two different fucking voices now. I mean, he's already scared as shitless enough running into this fucking, you know, cold shadow. Shut up. And he actually ends up dying. And I actually felt something because he was kind of a cool character. It wasn't even on the screen that much. It was just kind of a cool character. And he reminded me of Jeffrey Combs' character from Fortress. It basically freezes up and shatters. And then Rennie freaks out, and he's like, I can't do this, man. And then Gary Daniels is like, come on. And he manages to get through it. But at the same time, there's some soldiers, some actual prisoner guards who were decked out in, like, you know, frost protective suits. And they end up, you know, chasing after, putting the chase. So this is one of the more exciting, suspenseful moments in the film, but there really aren't that many. There really aren't even that many moments, and I don't even remember that many moments of Gary Daniels getting into any kind of, martial arts. Except he got in a fight earlier, after the first breakout, the second breakout actually, after, he got, was in cryo suspension the first time for 26 years, he broke out, and he got in a fight with actually the actor who plays the mayor of Detroit in RoboCop 2. He was also he was also in The Guyver, Willard E. Pugh, and he actually shows up, and he actually kicks his ass. It was pretty cool to see Willard E. Pugh. He was like a bounty hunter. Basically, he's a bounty hunter, and he showed up to kick his ass. And he's kicking Gary Daniels' ass, which is a different taste. But Gary Daniels actually ends up getting away by cheap shotting him. Kicks him in the balls. I think he's hit him over the hair with a stool. Not over the hair. Hits him over the head. Well, pretty much the hair. Pretty much could be the hair. Hair, head. No different. Not same difference, right? So basically, you have that. So you have a little bit of martial arts there, but that's about it. There really isn't that much. It's more about the prison escape, prison drama aspect of the film. So he manages to get through the cold shadow. And Randy follows suit. They manage to get away from the cops in the frost protective suits. Manage to get outside the prison, into the real world, where they encounter these mob bosses, these guys. And it turned out it was all a trick. Randy was set up, he was supposed to, there was a setup for him to die anyway, trying to escape. But anyway, basically, Randy gets shot in the head by one of his supposed uncle. His uncle. He was like, "No, Uncle, no!" Shoots him, and you're like, okay. Then Gary Daniels says, "We had a deal," and he gives him a chip, which is basically for a spaceship. And he wants to get to Seattle, where his daughter is. And basically, they see pretty good kind of Fifth Element type effects. They had a low budget, but they did a pretty good job, ambitious for these CGI cities and this spaceship that he's flying in. So he manages to get pretty much to Seattle. He manages to get to Seattle, but then you have a little bit of moment where his ship basically stops working. Have a fun moment where the computer says like 10, 9, 8, 6, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 0. What happened to 4, 3, 2, 1? And then it crashes. And he basically ends up getting caught again, this time by the local police. And these are kind of dumb fuck cops, but there was one good moment with one of the cops. He was all like, a little moment where he's like not speaking English, speaking to Joyce, something like that. And then he's all like, "You know what? I got something for you. How about I take your balls?" And he opens like a file drawer. "I put them in this drawer here, and I slam it shut. You think you'll speak English then?" He's like, "Yeah." Yikes! He's like, "Speak English." I speak English. Alright, good. Tell me who you are. I don't know. It's like, you tell me. There were some good moments of Gary Daniels, having good quips. And basically what happens is, he gets thrown in the cell, there's a hole in the wall, and he sees this chick, this girl, kind of goth-looking chick, and he's like, "Hello," and she's like, "Hi," and she says, "Oh, hi, I'm China Vagina," and I'm like, China Vagina. That's her name. China Vagina. Wow. Crazy ass fucking name. Crazy movie. So basically what happens is he manages to escape. He basically breaks a hole through the wall to sort of make it look like she tried to made a hole. Because she's just in a holding cell. He's in a cell. She's in a holding, room. He's in an actual cell. And then, some stupid shit. Like, there's some doof-ass cop that goes in and looks at it. "Oh, look. Oh, no." He gets knocked over the head. And, Gary Daniels takes a gun. They're like, "Oh, yeah, you idiot. Don't touch the hair." Like, I was like, "Just don't mess up my hair." Or some shit. He thinks he's Ford Fairlane. I don't know. And then basically commandeers another spaceship. Ends up finding a way into, on another train to Seattle. And he meets this